Hi everyone, I'm Jody at Fort Worth Fabric Studio, and today we're going to be making the Sweetest Heart table topper. And your finished table topper is going to look just like this. We've got backing here, and it's super cute, but it's just a real simple project for you guys. So if you bought a kit from us, you'll have these instructions included. If not, they are on our website and you can print them out and just go through and cut out what we've got here in the directions, and we will get started. Okay, our first step is to make some half square triangles, and these are the bottom parts of our hearts. So you want to take your cream fabric and your two printed squares here, and they need to be right sides together. And then we are going to draw a line, two lines on these squares for sewing. So we're going to use our little omni-grid marking ruler and draw right down this side and on this side. I'm now going to take these to the machine and stitch on both of the drawn lines here, and then we'll come back and cut right down the middle. Okay, now that we have these sewn, we are going to cut right down the middle in between these two lines of stitching, and then we will open that up, and you'll have one that looks like this, and you'll press your seam toward the print. So I'm going to go do that now, and then I'll be back. I have taken my blocks here and pressed the seam this way, and I'm going to trim these to 6.5 inches, and we have plenty of extra here, so I think that's always helpful, to give you a little extra to play with. So I'm going to use the block lock ruler, which I recommend using, and you want to face the words going this way toward the seam where it says block lock. Go this way. And this ruler is a 6.5 inch ruler, so I don't really have to match up any measurements. We're just going to start and cut along the sides here just like this, and then turn it around. Maybe line it back up a little bit to make sure it's even here, and then go ahead and cut this way. These are the bottoms of the hearts. Now I'm going to do the same process on the other pieces we have here, and then we'll have our 6.5 inch half square triangle blocks. Next step is to work on our heart tops, and if you are using the fabrics that came in our kit, just keep an eye out on these hearts because they are a little bit directional, and you want the top of the heart to be at the top. We are next going to go ahead and draw a line. Put your little cream right in the top left corner and draw a line from corner to corner, and after that you're going to stitch just above that line, and don't stitch directly on the line, stitch just a skosh above it. That's going to help match up the blocks later on. So we will take it over to the sewing machine and stitch on the line, and then cut about 1/4 inch above the line, and that'll be your seam allowance there, and you'll press that toward the cream print. I am back from pressing my seams this way, and you might notice when you do this, because we sewed just a tad bit above our line, you're going to have some little spots that are sticking up off the sides, and that's normal. That's where we want it to be. So don't worry about that. But your next step is to come back and put your triangle on the other side and line it up with the square. Don't line it up with the cream piece over here. You're going to want to line it up with the square corner on this side. And you'll do the same step. You're going to draw your line from corner to corner, and then you're going to sew just a teeny tiny bit above that. Then we'll trim it and press the seam up toward the cream, and we'll be back after doing that process. Our next step is to trim up our heart tops. And because we sewed a little bit above where we had that line drawn, that's why you're going to end up with these little edges hanging off. So I'm going to use my 6.5 inch block lock ruler, even though I don't really need the locking part in the middle, but I'm going to use that because it's a 6.5 inch square. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this up. So really the only pieces you're going to need to trim up are along the sides and the top on the cream fabric. So I'm going to do that on all of the heart tops, and then we will go ahead and stitch our heart tops together. And when you stitch the tops together, you'll want to press the seam over to the right. Then you're going to stitch the heart bottoms together, and you'll press that seam over to the left. Then we'll get to put the whole heart block together, and we will stitch that center seam and just make sure all of your points are lining up real nice. And when you do that and you get that completed, then you can press that seam toward the bottom. Our next step is to make this uneven 9-patch block. And I have this laid out. I thought it might be helpful because we've got hearts in here that are pointing this way toward me, and then these two pieces are directional as well, and I have them pointing this way. So I've gone ahead and laid it out because I thought it would be easier to show you guys. So you'll take your center square, and then these two rectangles are going to go on top here, and we will stitch the side seams this way, and when you're done you'll press those seams toward the center dark square. Then you'll make 2 of these, and then you'll come back and sew our top row and our bottom row. So we'll just do these right sides together like this, and you'll make 2 of these. And then you'll also move along and make the bottom row. These will go right sides together again, and you will make 2 of these. When you're done with this, you're going to press your seams, and the seams here on these top and bottom rows are going to get pressed toward the little squares on the side. So the seam in the middle one goes toward the big square, and the seams on top and bottom will go towards the small squares. So we'll take these over to the machine and get all of these stitched. We'll be making 2 sets of each of these. Our next step will be easy. We are going to stitch our top row and our bottom row on here to the center row. And after these are stitched, you'll press the seam at the top toward the top and the seam at the bottom toward the bottom. And then we will have these 2 blocks complete and ready to put together with our heart blocks. We are ready to actually put this table topper together now. So you're going to take a heart piece and an uneven 9-inch block piece, and they'll be matched up, and you're going to put them right sides together and sew down this seam here. Then that will be your top row. Your bottom row will be just a little different. You'll have your 9-patch on this side, and then you'll have your heart. It will go upside down this way, and you'll match this up on this side here and sew it. Then when you get those done, you'll come back and sew your middle seam, and that'll have your table topper complete. So I'm going to go put these together and press my seams, press your seams toward your uneven 9-patch block, and then I'll be back to show you the finished product. Alright everyone, I'm back. I've got my blocks all sewn together, so here's the finished result. And yours should turn out just the same. when you're done quilting it, if you bought one of our kits, or when you're done putting it together, if you bought one of our kits, you'll have the binding fabric available, and also the backing fabric will be included for you there. Also, if you don't buy one of our kits, be sure to go print off our free pattern. This is on our website, and we will include the link down below for you. If you have any questions, be sure to contact us at the email address we include below. And I hope you have enjoyed making the Sweetest Heart table topper. Bye!